Hafa Guam, and welcome back. You're watching KUM News Extra right here on KUM TV. In April, Guam will commemorate National Crime Victims' Rights Week, Sexual Assault Awareness Month, and Child Abuse Prevention Month. I have three friends of mine here who are going to talk in studio with us about everything that means. We have Taylor, Amanda, and Shane. Hafa to all of you.
Hafa.
All right. Obviously, April is going to be a month that is filled with activities, a lot of outreach, a lot of education. So, Taylor, let's start with you. With your responsibilities and everything, what are you going to be doing in the community?
Okay, so the first big event we have kicking off this month to commemorate all of the events you just listed, so National Crime Victims' Rights Week, Sexual Assault Awareness Month, and Child Abuse Prevention Month. They will be kicking this off with a presentation of resolutions and proclamation signing on April 1st, and that will be at Guam Community College Multipurpose Building 400. So this is an event where we try to bring in all of our community partners, any service providers, and just the community in general to bring awareness of all of these upcoming events. And we'll have everyone there to, just really stand in front of the community and say that these things are important and these are things that we want to express.
All right, well done. Well, Amanda, you're someone who's always out in the community, doing things, getting people involved and everything like that. What are you going to be doing?
Well, for me, I'm a student in the Masters of Public Administration program at the University of Guam. And so our program is involved with the Coalition for National Crime Victims' Rights Week. And we're, as the university as a land-grant institution is meant to be out in the community, beyond just our campus in Manila and teaching our students. It's for us to, be aware of the issues, be concerned with what's going on in our community, and especially for our program in the School of Business and Public Administration, our focus is on really honing in on our skills to become good public servants and leaders in our community. So we need to have a broad and diverse understanding of everything that's going on, the issues that are going on, and try to help give support and solutions as our key educational institution in the region. Any way that we can help in the community, that's what we're meant to go out and do. So for us, our program is hosting a 2-day forum on April 15th and 16th at the University of Guam. On the 15th, it'll be for the school children. So they'll come on field trips to the university to participate in activities and do some things and understand what Crime Victims' Rights Week is. And then on the 16th, it'll be a forum for the general public. So we'll have panels and we'll speak on what crimes are happening and what's being done to address them. And then we'll also have we'll have our art and video display there, and it'll be for public viewing. So we're having a Voices of Victims video and art collaboration that we're doing. So to just bring awareness to this week and to share some stories and experiences with others.
All right. Well, a fellow graduate student is 5 inches from you, and of course, by manner of dress, Officer Dawson, with your uniform, you are someone who, by virtue of your law enforcement profession, is working to deter crime. But when it comes to Crime Victims' Rights Week, in your capacity, what are you going to be doing?
I wear several hats. First of all, I'm the supervisor of the Community Resource Unit at Dededo Precinct, which oversees the Neighborhood Watch program for the northern end of the island.
Which is a big undertaking in and of itself.
It is, and so I work hand in hand with Officer Tapao and Lieutenant Mark Torrey on that project because they're tasked with the overall island-wide Neighborhood Watch program. At the same time, I'm also attending the Masters of Public Administration program, and I'm seated as chair for the events, and I do the coordination between the Guam Coalition and the various agencies out there, whether it be the DART team or Crime Stoppers or the Neighborhood Watch. I schedule those and try to be the liaison between UOG, GPD, and various other agencies.
Mm-hmm. So how can we, and you guys can all jump in as you see fit, how can we as a community better educate ourselves? And what paths would you recommend that we take, like if we want to get more involved and we want to be able to help out, so that hopefully, like some of the issues that we're dealing with when it comes to like sexual assault and crimes in any capacity and everything like that, hopefully these won't have to be, such grandiose issues.
Right. So that's one of the goals of National Crime Victims' Rights Week. So this is a national campaign that Guam is taking part in. And so this year's theme that is established by the Department of Justice, Office for Victims of Crime, is serving victims, building trust, and restoring hope. So at the key activities that we have planned, it's to empower victims. So we know that not all victims are going to come forward and say that something happened to them, but we want them to know through the events, through the public awareness campaigns, that they're not alone. We want to empower them to believe that there are resources out there. So we are going to be holding a few different outreach events where our service providers will be available, and they'll be at booths. So we'll be at the Micronesia Mall on April 9th from 10 to 2, and that's where we'll have more community activities. So it's for all ages, kids through adults, and they can go around and talk to the different service providers and see what services are available. And then also there will be presentations on crime tip, like how to, like if you think something's going on, where you can report it, or just preventative measures that you can take to prevent a crime from happening. So it's kind of an all-encompassing week. We want to serve the victims, we want to build trust in the community that there are resources, and we also want to prevent crime.
And that's the one thing that, fine folks like you have educated us and the rest of the community is, for victims of crime or for, kids that may be in abusive situations, you're not alone, and there are people who are standing by, pretty much 24/7 to help you out. And like Shane, as we've learned over the years, a lot of the nature of these crimes and these events, there's a very strong psychological component, and people very often don't want to come forward because of shame or fear or stuff like that. So it seems like a lot of the activities are going to be geared towards, letting people know that, again, you are not alone.
That's very true. That's why we do events like this, is, to get the community out there and let them become more knowledgeable. And hopefully it'll motivate some people to come forward, whether it be on the criminal side or just speaking with people like the Guam Coalition in order to get the psychological help that they might need in reference to this. But my door is always open. They can always call me at Dead Oak Precinct if they're seeking advice on how to contact these people. Just leave me a message and I'll make sure they get to the right person.
And certainly, Amanda, for people that would maybe like to contribute, with their own talents or their own time in any capacity, there are organizations that are always in need of help.
Yes, definitely. There are different organizations, but I would say that the coalition is really doing an awesome job, and we're so happy that we're able to partner with them
Absolutely.
as the university. And another component of what we're doing is we're trying to make a social media presence out there so that people can get involved and know about all of the events. So I invite everyone to follow us on Facebook at Guam National Crime Victims Rights Week. And then, we will also link our Instagram and Twitter there, and, be updated on all the events and see how you can get involved and how, when you should come out and support.
Well, as graduate students, I would say, hopefully you, upon completion of your education and maybe further down the road, you're each going to be in politics and you can get into, the formulation of policy. But when it comes to the legislation that's on the books right now, do we need tougher laws? When it comes to policing, not to use that word, but to enforce what's going on right now, to eliminate these types of activities in our community.
Now, granted, this is just my personal opinion.
Sure.
There's a lot of laws in place, but we need the resources in order to properly enforce all the laws. That's the issue. I don't think it's more about legislation. I think it's providing us the tools that we need in order to actively enforce what we currently have.
That's a very good point. I mean, it's one thing to have a strategy, you got to go out and execute.
That's
okay.
correct.
Okay, so what else do we have coming up?
We also have a wave that will be held April 11th on Monday, and that's going to be right across from Chamorro Village around the Skinner Plaza area. And that's a great opportunity for everyone to come out, whether you're a service provider, if you're just a concerned citizen, and just stand there in support of National Crime Victims' Rights Week, Sexual Assault Awareness Month, and Child Abuse Prevention Month.
Okay, I also understand there's a video competition and a art contest to speak
Yes,
of. All right.
yes. So
those are always fun.
So the art contest is actually geared towards kinder through 5th graders, and anyone in that age group is eligible to compete. It's just a basic, any medium on a piece of paper that you want, using the National Crime Victims' Rights Week colors, which is blue, gold, and orange. And it's just, what does it mean for you when you hear National Crime Victims' Rights Week? Or what does it mean for you when you hear serving victims, building trust, restoring hope? So we want to inspire, we know that our community is very grassroots. We have to start when they're little to get the message out, where you can get help, those kinds of things. So we are going to use the winning artwork, which will be decided at the Micronesia Mall Outreach Fair. And we're going to use that as background in our booklet and in the video for Voices of Victims and Survivors. And then the Voices of Victims and Survivors is an effort to give individuals the venue, I guess, to express what has happened to them and what experiences they have gone through. So it doesn't necessarily need to be specifically like this crime, but this is kind of how it impacted my life, and these are the things I've done to restore the things I've lost. And of course, individuals may remain anonymous if they choose, and all of those submission forms can be found on our website at guamcoalition.org.
Outstanding. And you said it has to be on physical paper, so like paintings, drawings are all acceptable.
Yes.
No Photoshop though.
I don't even think we're excluding that. So just anything that the kid can do.
Okay,
that
cool.
Wants to express what this means to them, or what the theme means to them.
Submissions may be digital then.
I believe so, but it needs to be printed for us because they're going to be hanging at the mall.
All right.
The public is going to have an option to vote on
Okay,
their favorite.
Very well. So we'll wrap up with this, and Amanda and Shane will get final thoughts from both of you.
Well, we just hope that everyone comes out and participates to support this great cause. We want to empower the victims during this week. Just like Taylor mentioned, we're here to support the coalition, to be involved and just help in any way we can, and we invite the public to do the same and come out and support.
All right.
Just reiterating that the Guam Police Department, Guam Coalition, and UOG is here to serve the community and do the best that we can in order to facilitate the end goal, which is peace on Guam.
All right. Well, we do appreciate the effort that the three of you and the scores more of people that you represent are putting forth and everything. It's very noble, and we're very appreciative of it. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. Please stay tuned, everybody. We will see you on the flip side of this commercial break. Please stay tuned.